It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego County. Today we are joined by Dan McAllister. He is the San Diego County Treasurer Tax Collector. That is an elected position. There's the Treasurer Tax Collector, there's the Assessor, there's the Auditor, there's a Controller. There's a lot of financial positions. What do you do?
The County Treasurer Tax Collector in San Diego County basically bills taxes, collects taxes, and invests the money for the County of San Diego. Those are the three primary things that we're charged with.
And the taxes that you're collecting, a huge portion of those, property taxes.
Yes.
How are you obtaining the information to send out the bill which says how much money we owe in property tax?
Our information is transferred to us from the assessor's office every year at the end of June. At the end of each fiscal year, they call it the tax roll. It's transmitted to us vis-a-vis the auditor. It goes through the auditor to check just to be sure that it's accurate. And then it comes to us to enter it onto the bills and to send the bills out and then collect those monies.
And the assessor values property.
Yes.
I know it's outside your purview technically, but I'm sure you know the answer.
Right.
It values the property based upon the purchase price of the home, as well as improvements, and then a statutory adjustment every year. Is that essentially accurate?
It's not an automatic adjustment up every year, but it's dependent on a couple of variables. The first and largest variable is something called the California CPU, basically. And this is measuring the taxable base of San Francisco and Los Angeles and averaging the two.
Interesting.
And if their markets are up, the whole state is up. It's only been down one time since 1978 when Prop 13 passed.
Of course.
And it can only increase by 2% of the original 1% upon which the tax base is built.
And that's key. In California, we do have a relatively low property tax bill every year because Prop 13 does not allow the rapid rise of real estate based upon a rise in value.
That's absolutely right. And if you track back and you see and know what happened to cause Prop 13 to pass, it was a whole bunch of frustrated people, primarily elderly, retired, fixed income people who were screaming for help because every year there was an effort to raise their taxes and collect more and more and more by government. And they said, we've had enough. And that's what caused Prop 13 to come into existence.
So I look at the amount of money that your office has been collecting.
Yes, sir.
And in 2012-13, your office collected about $4.5 billion for the county in property taxes and some fees.
Yes.
By 2016-17, $5.6 billion. That's a big jump in just 5 cycles. To what do you attribute this over $1 billion rise in collections?
Well, I think that it's attributable to several factors. The first and foremost and the biggest factor, of course, is valuations. The values have soared in San Diego since the downturn of the economy. We went through a period of about 5 years, maybe from 2007 to 2012-ish. And at that time, things bottomed out. Values dropped, sales dropped, people were not buying homes, interest rates were fumbling around and nobody knew what to do with them or how to make things work again. And then as we climbed up out of that, values started to increase. And as more and more buyers stepped forward for an inventory, and this is a supply and demand analogy, supply and demand kicks in at some point because the supply was limited. During the downturn of the economy, we didn't build a lot of new homes. We didn't build a lot of new condos. We didn't build a lot of for sale product. So what happened was with that limited stock, you still had really a confluence of new buyers and wannabe move-up buyers coming into the marketplace and trying to buy, and they fell all over themselves in driving up these prices. We're back to a situation now, many realtors will tell us, where there are multiple offers on properties being offered in San Diego County, and the prices are higher than the asking prices. In other words, the final price that people are willing to pay is higher than the asking price originally was because the competition for those products is so great.
That sounds like a positive development, especially if you are selling your home, but that does create challenges when you have such dramatic swings in revenue for a county like San Diego, which is one of the largest counties. I think it may be the second largest county in the entire state. And so how does county government manage these dramatic swings? I mean, I know that you're the treasurer tax collector, you just give the money over,
Sure.
But still, I have to think that how does planning go on when you have these wide swings?
This is a great question, and I think it's answerable by primarily one way, and that is fiscal prudence. I think when you have the kind of Board of Supervisors we have had, who have diligently gone out of their way to be fiscally prudent and make decisions that are based on making sure we have rainy day funds and making sure that we can pay cash for some of the new buildings and some of the new things that government needs, libraries, police
one-time expenditures,
buildings, sheriff's offices, one-time expenditures. That is a good way to govern. And they have been very, very methodical about protecting the assets of the county. And I think that's why we end up with a little bit of a largesse at the end of the day.
So let's talk about where our tax dollars go. I think that a lot of folks may be surprised to learn who gets almost the majority of funds through money collected. Who gets almost a majority?
I think you have to look at public schools, and arguably I think that's one of our finest and potentially best investments we can make because it's an investment in the future of the state, of the county, of the city in which these taxes are generated. But it's about 43% of all tax dollars go to education, K through 14, in the state of California.
And I would have thought, if I didn't know, that the state really funded education in a more dramatic way. In the county, that wasn't much of what the county needed to fund. But as we know, the county does provide a significant amount of funding, at least through property tax collection, to the schools.
Yes, it does. And I think it's important to note, too, that the state also has its number one priority, funds education before anything else. They have a huge outlay of dollars come flowing forth to all 42 public school districts in the county of San Diego, as well as the 5 community college districts that exist in San Diego County.
Where else does the money go? Who else gets a significant chunk of county funding, or what areas?
Well, you can see from the pie charts that are out there that libraries receive a chunk of money. Public facilities receive some of that money. There's about a 13.2% amount that stays available for the supervisors to have discretion over here in the county as to where that money goes.
And of course, cities in the county will get, it's a good 12, 13%.
All 18 cities receive a pro rata share based on how much they pay in, and that says what will come back.
His name is Dan McAllister. He is the San Diego County Treasurer Tax Collector. We're in San Diego County today. My name is Brad Pomerance. It's Local Edition.